Hi art students. It's time for another week of art, but first we're going to do Godzilla of the Week, so here it is. This is Angurius. He's a toy. I have his tag on still. You keep the tag on like when you're a collector. People like him. But he's got all these spikes on his back. He's kind of cool. Detail. This particular Angurius is from Godzilla Final Wars. So he's a little more updated. There's kind of more funkier designs from the past. There we go. He's pretty cool. He's pretty sweet. He's back from 2004, which is before you were born. uh, anyways, that's it. That's it for Godzilla of the Week. So now let's get on to our art portion of the video. Hi, fifth graders. We're going to make a clay coin. Oh, wait, let me get my Photoshop happening. Okay. Okay, we're going to make this clay coin. And like this. We're going to make it. I filmed this video and it didn't record. So I got to do this again. So here's the coin I just did. And I have to film it again. That's pretty good. This is a good one. So my next one probably won't be as good. I'll probably go a little faster this time. I'm going to put that right here. Okay, so you're going to start by getting this block of clay, right? And what else do you need? You need some stuff from home. You need a little bit of water. So you don't need to use a lot of water, but you need a little cup of water. You need a toothpick works really well. I recommend a toothpick. This is like a thicker toothpick. Or well, actually, you need this, whether you have a toothpick or not. You need to have a paper clip. So, and I'm not going to get another paper clip out, but I bent it out, right? So like it was here, and I bent it out to be like that, and you can hold it here, and this, you can use it like this. So this is a paper clip. This is a bigger paper clip, but a small paper clip will work. So you definitely need a paper clip to write your name. A toothpick works great. And then this is what what else I want you to have. Hopefully you have this at home, is a paintbrush. So you have a paintbrush. We're not going to use the brush, but we're going to use the end, because it's like a soft, rounded stick, right? And we can use this to kind of press in and use it like a tool, like a sculpting tool. So this is just, hopefully you have just a cheap paintbrush at home. Even if it's plastic, that's okay. Like, a cheap, watercolor brush. But you want to make sure it's like smooth and rounded at the end, and not too thick either, not too gigantic. Like I have some big brushes and stuff like that. Okay, so now you definitely want to use this. So this is a paintbrush. I mean, if you can find something similar that's rounded at the end, I guess that'll work. Definitely need a paper clip, and then I highly recommend a toothpick. I really enjoyed the toothpick. A popsicle stick might work, might help you, so that might be useful. Okay. And then water. You got to have water. Oh, and then you need a surface to work on. Now, you could use paper. Cardboard works, but you don't just want to go on your like mom's wooden table. It'll ruin it, and she'll get mad at you and me. So I've got this old. It's like an old cutting board, but don't ruin your cutting board either. Just use paper, newspaper, or if you like a big piece of cardboard, you can kind of work on the cardboard. The cardboard will get all yucky, and you just throw the cardboard away. That's what I recommend. But anyways, don't do this on your table. Like, it will make a mess. And especially on a wood table, it'll ruin your wood table and your mom will be mad. So don't do that. Okay, so here's my clay. I want to make it into like a coin, right? And I have this paper that you can print out to look at. Now, I'm going to kind of show you, but it kind of shows you step by step. Like, we start with kind of a simplified shape of the person that we're going to do. Like, here's Washington. He's kind of got like a big simple shape for his head, and he's got like a big neck. We kind of put those shapes down. We do that first, and then we add more detail, and then we finish off the detail as much as we can. So you kind of start off simplistically, and then you add more detail. You don't just add all the detail to his face first and then work on his shoulder. No, you kind of work on the whole thing, and it kind of comes into focus. It starts off very blobular and basic, and then we slowly add more detail until we're finished, okay? That's the best way to work. That way, um, you know, if you put all the detail in his head and then his head is real tiny, you have to redo his head when you go to his body, right? Things like that. Okay, but anyways, you can print this out. I'll show it to you. Or what I recommend is just get a coin. If you're going to do a penny, just get a penny and you can kind of put it down and you can look at it. Or if you're getting a quarter, you can get a quarter and just look at it. I don't have a quarter on, I don't have a penny on me. I'm going to do a penny. Although maybe I want to do somebody else here. I'll do Abe Lincoln again. He's pretty good. Okay. He's probably Abe Lincoln kind of makes the most sense. So the other ones are kind of hard, so I don't know. I recommend Abe Lincoln. Okay, penny. Now the first thing we want to do is you want to tear off a little bit of your clay so that you have some extra for the body, right? So like I need this for the person or the picture on the coin. Maybe you need a little more. I think that's okay. So I'm going to put this to the side, and then with the rest of it, I'm going to kind of make it into a ball and then kind of flatten it and make it into a circle, right? So in fact, I can probably just, here, it probably works, here, I got the camera in front of me. You kind of like round it. There, it's already becoming kind of like a circle. I can press it down. You'll notice that it'll probably be all super cracked. Like here you can see a lot of cracks. That's okay, I'll show you how to clear that out. This might be a bigger coin than my last one. Some students will get more clay than others. Like I might have more clay on this one. You want to press it down. Some students want to use like, I don't know, a cup or something, like a plastic cup to cut it. But here's the problem. If you like press down really hard and cut the edge off, it'll be stuck inside and you won't be able to get the coin out. And you have to like dig it out and you'll ruin it. So you don't have to do this, but if you want, you could maybe press down a little bit just to kind of get the basic shape. Don't press down all the way. Let's see. Did I get most of it? I could probably press down a little more. You don't want to press down all the way, and then you can kind of peel it off or cut it off. I recommend like this will work good, or a plastic knife. Actually, something smooth. Like if you're going to use a plastic knife, don't use the sharp part. Use the smooth part. Let's see. Because if you use the sharp part, it'll make all kinds of crumbs and a ragged edge. You actually want to use something smooth. This actually works pretty good. But even if you didn't do that, it makes my coin smaller too. Even if you didn't do that, if you just kind of like had a ball and you pressed it down flat, and then what you can do is you can just kind of roll it on the table until it feels kind of rounded, right? Now this is almost a little too thick. Maybe I'll press it down a little more. Let's see. You don't want it too thin on the edge. Let's see. It's a little better. There, it's kind of like that. You don't want it too thin, because if it's too thin, it'll break, right? That's pretty good. Now this doesn't have a lot of cracks. Let's see. Let me get something that looks really cracked. Let me show you how to smooth out cracks. My last video I had all kinds of cracks, and I had to show you, if you play with the clay too much, it'll dry out and you'll have a bunch of cracks. Let's see if I can make this happen. Of course it's not happening. This is pretty, my other clay was drier. Well, what you're going to do is, you're going to get not a lot of water, you're just going to dip your finger in water, and then you're just going to kind of, see, that was almost too much. You're just going to spread it around. You don't want it slimy. What happens is when you spread it around, hopefully if you didn't get too much water, it'll actually start drying like while you do it because you're running out of water. And then you can just get it. You can just get a little bit more water. But if this thing's like super wet and damp, it'll be all slimy and gross. And it'll be difficult to use. It'll be slimy. It'll stick to your paper. It'll just be a big mess. So you don't want to use a lot of water. If you do use a little water, just keep spreading it around until it starts to dry. Like this looks pretty good. Okay, that worked. Well, let's look at this one. So here you can see I got some cracks. It's funny how this one doesn't have a lot of cracks. Here's a decent amount. So again, I'm going to get my finger wet. Just going to spread this around. And then it should be drying, like your finger should be drying when you start rubbing it around on the clay, that means you didn't use too much water, which is good. Ooh, those cracks aren't coming out. Let's see here. Spread them out. Sometimes you'll have like big cracks on the side. Of course, this one doesn't have any big cracks. But you'll just get some water and you'll really just, let's see if I get this one. You have to kind of rub it in. Here's a crack. Maybe I need a little more water. That looks pretty good. You use water, you rub it, you reshape it, you kind of press it in a little, you kind of rub it out. But then it got too skinny there, right? So maybe I can kind of move some clay over. I don't know. But that's it. Depending on how dry your clay is, you might need some more water. So you'll just keep doing it. Just kind of keep rubbing it until you get a nice smooth disc, right, for the back of your coin. Okay, that looks good. Now this side's a little cracked. I'll just use this for the back. This looks nice and smooth, so that's good. You really only need one good side. We're not doing double side of the coin, just doing one side, all right? So, okay, so there it is. That's pretty good. That's good to go. Now, with the other parts, with the rest of the clay, what I can do is, here, I'll use this. We want to make the general shapes of the head and the body. So I'm going to use this extra clay that I have. So you should have separated some clay, right, from the beginning. And I'm going to make a general shape for the body and a general shape, like that's almost too much for the head. Let's see, I'm going to take some of that off. Okay. All right, there's that. So now I'm not going to stick it down yet. I need to make sure, let's see, this is for the body. Let's see, it's kind of like this. Yeah. Kind of smooth it out. You can use a little bit of water if you have to. So, general shape, kind of like this, right? So you start basic shape. And like I said, you could print this out. I'll have this in the description on the Canvas page. So if you have a printer at home, you can print out. Otherwise, you can just look at a penny, or you can just remember. You can just pause at the video and you can see, oh yeah, like the head, like it kind of has this. It's not a circle. Like it has kind of this like angle. This is like his jaw. It's kind of almost straight down here, and then it's kind of curved in the back. This is like his neck and his shoulder kind of curves up, and then this kind of comes out. It's kind of like his jacket. It's kind of like flowing out a little. And then I have other basic shapes for like, these other coins and stuff like that. Like there's Washington. Okay. So, but here's the thing. You can't just put this on, and press it down like, okay, that's ready to go. No, that's going to pop off. It's not going to stick. We need to almost like cement these two pieces to the coin, okay? And so how do we do that? Well, first off, we need to use a little bit of water. Water will help it stick, but then it'll also slide too, right? It may not make a good adhesion. What else we need to do? So I'll start with water though. So here I'm going to get a little bit of water, and I'm going to kind of put it where this piece is going to go. Then I'm going to put a little bit of water on the back where it's going to stick on. But that's not enough. It could slide off. What you want to do is you want to score, you want to put these little marks where that piece is going to go on top. And what happens is when I press it in, I'm going to do it on the back of this too, right? So I'm going to score it. Decent amount. Like it makes it really rough, and you get a little bit of water there. And what's going to happen is that those marks are going to kind of like stick into each other when I press down, and they'll kind of keep it in place. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to press down, and press down not super hard, but medium. Like don't just go, oh, I pressed it down. No, that's not enough. I mean, you want to press it down pretty medium like, and then you can kind of smooth it around. Try to kind of smooth it together along the edges. So that feels pretty good. Let's see. Where's that shape? It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this shape. Okay. Now for his head, let's see his head. I need to shape it a little better. So let's see. It's kind of like here. It's like at an angle here. Yeah. Like that. So jawline, kind of straight down, kind of rounded. The picture kind of shows me that. Now, again, I can't just put this on. It'll break off, right? So you have to use a little bit of water on the piece that's going to go down and where it's going to go. Then you need to score it. You need to score where it's going to go, and don't just do a bunch like that. Like that's a decent amount. And then I'm going to put it on this side where it's going to connect. Okay, this looks like it got a little dry, so I'm gonna add a little bit of water there. And I'm gonna press it in, medium, like not super hard, but don't just like lightly press it. You have to really kind of firmly press it in. And then you want to, and then we want to kind of like blend the sides a little bit so it kind of blends into the coin itself. Now, sometimes you can use your fingers. I'm trying to, let's see. But you might have to use a different tool. Again, this is where this thing comes in handy. I can get a little wet, and I can just it can kind of help me to kind of blend it in. Okay. Might just be able to use your fingers. Just want to blend that in. All right. Okay, so I got the general shape of his head and his kind of shoulder and arm. Now you're going to look at the coin, and the next step we want to do is we want to generally start adding detail, but we don't want to like totally detail one place. We want to generally add detail to the whole thing. So looking at my picture, let's see if I can get this in camera. Almost. Here, let's see if I can. Well, okay. So I'm looking at this picture, and I can see that, so he's got like a chin, so it kind of comes here. He's got like an ear here. So I'm just going to kind of make it with this, kind of like that. Like, you know, it's just general shapes, right? Okay, he's got this like cheekbone thing here. Okay. And then he's got a nose. And so the nose kind of goes into his face, kind of like that. And then his kind of nose kind of comes out like that. And then, I don't know, this kind of rounds up a little. But oh, now he's got a really big jaw, so maybe I can press this down. But his nose needs to, I'm pressing his nose out. I don't know, I'm trying to get a general shape. Ooh, when I press down, that kind of gives a nice eye cavity. Right, okay. And then he's kind of got some hair. So his hair is kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like all like, he's got a big forehead, so it's kind of like this. I might need to add a little more hair up here. I did that on my previous one. Let's see, so he's got his ear here. I'm gonna press in on his ear. Yeah, see? That looks pretty sweet. So, I mean, you're not gonna get a perfect sculpture with this, but we're generally putting the shapes in. He's kind of got some beard lines in here, and he's got some hair lines, kind of just like some bumps, and I think I'm gonna need some more clay up here. Maybe not, I don't know. Generally, like it's kind of, they're bumpy, like his hair is bumpy, right? And you can look at a little penny, you can like look at it real closely. Now that doesn't look like him yet, but it's getting there. Okay, then he's got like a shoulder, he's got like a big shoulder line here. Okay, maybe that was too much. It looks like he might have another, oh, you can't see it. Let's see. All right. Maybe put another line here. Okay, then he's got like a collar here. And then it looks like he's got a little bit of it. Let's see, this, I can press this in, so I can press this in. Maybe I don't need that much. So I'm kind of like, I press that in, and I'm going to blend this over. Like, I didn't need that much body, right? And that's why this tool is real nice. I just pressed it down and kind of smushed it over. And then I can kind of smooth it later with my finger. And then I can press this down a little. I don't know, I'm looking at the picture. He's got like a, this is like his lapel. Let's see, it's kind of like this. And then he's got like another little line over here. Oh, whatever. Okay. And then this kind of, I'm kind of following there. It's kind of like that. Okay. So that's like a general shape, the general shape of his body. It's not perfect. It looks pretty good, in my opinion. It's not this yet. This is the final step. So this is like, the first step was the blob. The second step was like generally kind of putting those lines in. Now I'm going to refine those lines. And don't worry if yours doesn't look as good as mine. I've been doing this a long time. And remember, this is just practice. If you don't like your coin, don't worry about it. you're learning, right? Anyways, that's my finished one. Okay, here we go. Now is the part where I want to look very carefully at my picture, right? And I want to try to match this a lot better. So let's see. His eye doesn't have a big circle like that. It kind of like comes down, right? So like maybe I can adjust that. Maybe I can kind of do that. I don't know, that feels better. Let's see. And then this is the part where I can use my my toothpick. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's see what we got here. So let's see. I'm looking at the picture. Let's see here. He's got like his ear kind of comes up here. The toothpick, I can get some real nice detail. It still looks like his nose needs to be bigger. I'm going to kind of press it in. Let's see. He's got a bigger forehead. Maybe press that out. And then his hair comes over his forehead. I need more hair there. I'm going to get some more. I'm going to get some more clay. So again, I'm going to put a little bit of water here. I'm going to score it. Right? And then I got this piece. It's a little moist. Let's see here. Got a little wet. I'm going to score this on the back. And then I'm going to press it. But you can't just barely put it on. You have to press this thing on because it'll break off otherwise. It needs to be, now it was a little too much hair, right? You can kind of see it's a little too much hair, but that's fine. I can like kind of shape it again. I can kind of make it kind of come back. His hair kind of comes down, but I'm pressing in. If you don't score it, wet it, and really press it in, that little piece will break off. And you don't want that to happen. That's no fun. Okay, so now I'm back. I need a little more hair there. Now I'm going to go back and add some more, some finer marks with my toothpick here. And let's see if I can do his eye. His eye kind of comes up like this. And then he's got, I'm looking at the picture, he's kind of just got like a little eyelid here. That's pretty good. And then he's got a little mark here for his nose. He's got a mouth. Let's see if I can get this. But then I'm going to use this to push in he's got like a little thing underneath his lip there. So again, it's good to have the right tools. I'm going to press that in. Maybe this needs to come out a little bit. Looks like his mouth is a little low. That's okay. Maybe give him a little, kind of go around that nostril. Let's see here. Doesn't totally really look like Abe. You know what it needs is it needs his beard. So he's kind of got a beard in here. And then his hair, I like this for his hair. I'm going to press it in. And then I can use the toothpick to kind of add some hairs. Although the bumpiness looks pretty good. If you look really closely at that penny, you'll kind of see they're just bumps. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go on to his collar here. It looks like he looks a little bow tie, but it's really tiny. So maybe I'll just kind of put a little shape there. He's got like, I don't know, the inside of his jacket here. I don't know, I'm just drawing these lines. Okay. He's got a bigger head, so I'm going to maybe press down here, maybe pull that up. Yeah. Okay. Close enough. Okay. So anyways, let's compare which one looks better. I don't know. This one's smaller. This one I had less clay. So you might get a little more, your coin might be a little bigger than someone else's if you had more clay. That's okay. The other one I didn't have as much clay. Now, another thing we need to do is we need to add like "In God We Trust," right? And sometimes it's hard to figure out exactly where those words go. Well, you can kind of see on this handout that I did, I put "we" right above his head, right? So that way you know that "we" is centered on top of his head, and then God is to the side of it, and then "in" is over here. But if we start with "we," that's directly in the middle, we can get it kind of all in the right space. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to very carefully write the word "we" above his head. Hopefully you left enough space. I didn't tell you to do that, but yeah, if you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. Don't do it, I guess. But what you don't want to go straight in and dig all the way around, because what will happen is Here, I'll show you here. See if it'll mess up. If I just do the W, let's see what happens. See how it kind of makes, it kind of, there's like crumbs and stuff sticking up, and it kind of makes a mess. It's better, especially if you don't have to. Like on the W, it's just straight lines. So what I can do is I can just do one line at a time, and it won't be as, and then I can turn my toothpick to go the other way. So it won't be so messy. It won't make up all those crumbs, right? And then with the E, I can just go one line at a time. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then this one, I can just go here. And so that way it won't dig in as much, and it won't be as messy. I can kind of, okay, so I got we. The E is a little far away. Whoops. Oh well. And then I need trust. So trust comes over here. So T. Again, I just do one line at a time. T, R. Now for the curve on the R, you have to dig in a little. And so curves it digs in. So I don't know. But on straight lines, you can just draw one line at a time. Okay. Oh, I got the U. The U's going to dig. But I can do like one line, stop, one line, and then kind of curve it at the bottom. Okay. The S is going to dig because it's all curvy. Let's see. Not too bad. What happens is there's like those crumbs. I can try to brush them away and then try to go a little deeper to kind of make it more readable. Because what happens is you want to make sure you can read it. You want to make sure you kind of dig in and then just get rid of the extra. Okay. And then I need my T. Okay, so I got we trust, and then I need God. I'm actually going to do the D first and go backwards. D. See how all that gunk is around the O? You just brush it off, and then you might have to make it a little deeper again. Ugh. Okay, whatever. I said in my previous version of this video, I'm surprised we still have "In God We Trust" on our money, because there's a lot of people in the government that don't believe in God. And there's a lot of people that complain about it, people that don't like God. You're like, why wouldn't they like God? Because the darkness, because the light of Christ reveals their sins, right? That's why they don't like God. So they want "In God We Trust" taken out of our money. But I'm really glad we have "In God We Trust" on our money, because it helps remind us that God is more important than money, even though sometimes we live our lives as if money is the most important thing. But really, it's God. God provides us with work, money, jobs that help us make work. Anyways, trusting God. So, but anyways, it's nice that we still have this. "In God We Trust." Oh, but if the politicians had their way, they'd get rid of it. A lot of people would be upset, though. A lot of Christians would be upset. Now, on the penny, it says liberty here. That's pretty hard to write in there. I mean, you can try, but if you need to have a lot of space for liberty. So I'm not going to make you do liberty. That's too difficult. But you can put a date. There's like a little date. There's a little date here, right? So definitely put a date, a year. I'm going to put 1984. You could put any date. You could put your birthday. What year were you born in? Oh, hopefully I don't run out of room here. Okay. And okay, there we go. Now, what else do I want to do? That's it. Now, if you do like a dime, if you do a dime or a quarter, you can put little marks on the side of your coin too. I don't think pennies have it, so I'm not going to do it on my penny. But like I said, if you do a quarter or a dime, there's little ridges, and you can just press in on the side and go all the way around, and it'll look really cool. It'll look really good on a quarter. So if you do Washington, do it. Or a dime, do it. It'll look good. So that's it. One thing though you want to look at is look to see, are your letters easy to read? Are there crumbs, like crumbs here? You can brush off the crumbs, and then you might just, I'm gonna use this, I think this works better. This toothpick looks better. You just go in there and just make it a little deeper, brush off the crumbs until it's perfect. Sometimes there's crumbs on the tip of your toothpick. You have to brush that off too. That gets in the way. You just go in there and just make it a little neater, brush it off, check your tip. Yeah, okay. That looks good. Finally, the most important thing about this project is your name on the back of your coin. So I'm going to very carefully, I'm not going to press down really hard because I don't want to squish my Abe Lincoln. But this is probably where this is going to come in handy, the paperclip. So you want to very carefully write your name. And remember, if you can do it in straight lines, like watch, I'm going to do Mr. Smith. The less you have to the shorter the lines you can do, like just one line at a time. And you can do it pretty big. Just make sure it's readable. Make sure it's very readable. This is the most important thing because I need to know that this is your project, right? So Mr. You'll put your name, right? Now for the M, I'm going to do one line at a time, right? I-T, I'm running out of room. H. I almost ran out of room. And then you can brush away the crumbs, and you can see how sometimes it's hard to read. So like my T, I can do my T a little better. I can do my H a little better. Let's see here. I'm running out of room. Make sure you start on the other end. And then another thing that's very important, I can make this a little better, because make sure it's easy to read. I need to know it's your project, right? So I can grade you. Is the other thing you need to do is put the letter of your teacher's name. So if you're in Johnson, you're going to do a J, but then put a box around it. Normally I say put a circle around it, but circles are, they dig in too much. So just do a box. That way you can do 4 lines and it'll easily, it looks good too, like with a box. So I'm going to do 4 lines. It's a box, Johnson. If you're from Verveldi's class, you'll just do a V. If you're in Koolmees' class, you'll just put a K. Right? K in a box. K, J, or V. And sometimes if I can't read your name, but it'll be like, oh, this student's in Johnson's class. I can kind of look, oh, I got a coin for this student and this student, this student. Oh, I don't have one for this student. Maybe it'll help me interpret your name a little better. But try to write your name as neatly as possible. This isn't as neat. Let's look at this one. Oh yeah, that's a little neater. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But that's it. So that's our project. So do your best. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. Just practice. Practice will get better. We're going to do another clay project near the end of the year. But this is our first one, and it's kind of small. This one is a bigger, let's see, this one's bigger because I had more clay for this one, so this is a little smaller. Don't worry if your coin isn't as big as other students. It's hard to give everyone the same amount of clay. But try your best and work hard, and don't worry if it doesn't look perfect. You only do one side of a coin, right? And so you can do, if you don't want to do a face, you can do the Capitol building, or you can do the Lincoln Memorial, right? Or the Falcon, I think, is hard, so I wouldn't do that. The Lincoln Memorial could be fun. That could be a lot of fun to do. So, and as far as the words go, if you do this, the nickel, you can fit this, "In God We Trust." Let's see, what do I do? Oh, I put the Y here. So that way the Y is in the middle, and then you go backwards. So it's like Y, T, R, you go Liberty backwards, and then you put the date. And then here it'd probably be the W. I should have put the W there. There's a W here, so you go We Trust, and then In God. You kind of fit it in there. Here you can definitely fit Liberty in the dime, so that's easy. But it's funny? It might be hard to put, so for the dime, if you do this one, it'll probably be hard to do In God We Trust. It's so tiny, but you could definitely do Liberty and the year, right? So that one's too small for In God We Trust. And then here on here Liberty is nice and big. That's easy. That might be kind of hard to do. You can try. It depends how big it, but then you can definitely put the date underneath, the year. So I leave it up to you. Like here on the back, if it's too tiny, like E pluribus unum, that's pretty hard to fit in there. So, but you can definitely put United States of America. Let's see. I don't tell you what to do on the back of the. You can just figure it out. You know that the E is above the eagle's head, right? So you go ES right above the eagle's head, and you just go backwards. So ES, and you'll do TATS, right? And then United will be backwards. And then from the ES, you put of America. That way you get it right centered. Anyways, try your best. Hopefully it'll work out. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. Just turn it in. We're learning. I've been sculpting things for many years, so maybe you can do better than me. Can you do better than me? Take your time and try your best. I mean, these look good, but this one doesn't totally look like Lincoln. I think this one looks a little more like Lincoln. It's hard. It's hard to sculpt, right? So I mean, whatever. Don't worry about it. Oh, and then one more thing. You want this to dry, and you want it to dry. And what you're going to do is you're going to leave it in the sun. Don't put it back in your bag because it won't. It's hard for it to dry. Just leave it out and leave it to dry. Let the sun hit it, and it'll turn to a light gray. Right now it's a dark gray. That means it still has moisture in it, but it'll turn to a light gray and it'll probably take like 2 or 3 days for it to dry like that. After 2 to 3 days, you can bring it back to school. Maybe wrap it in a paper towel, put it in a like a sandwich bag, and carefully bring it back to school. And then I will put it in the kiln, the clay kiln, and I'll bake it. Don't do it at home because it won't be hot enough, right? So you need it. Once this is dry, will be light gray. Take it to school. I'll put it in the kiln. I'll bake it. When I bake it, it'll be white. That's when it's like super baked and it's perfect. And I'll probably paint it for you. Normally in class, we're in class and we just paint it. Like, so let's be copper. I have copper paint. I might just paint it for you just to save some time. If I do get a chance to come to your classroom, maybe we'll paint it. But I have a feeling that it might just be easier just for me to paint it for you. So, but you work on the sculpture and make it look great. I'll paint it for you. Bring it to school when it's dry so I can bake it. And then at the end of the year, you'll get your coin back. So you're like, do I get my project back? Yes, you do. And it's kind of fun, and you can put it in your, drawer, or you can just put it somewhere. But hopefully this was fun. Don't worry if you didn't get a perfect likeness of Lincoln or Washington or whatever. Try your best and just have fun with it, and make sure your name is neat on the back. Bring it to school when it's dry, when it's a light gray, and I'll bake it. And hopefully this was fun. We'll do a little more clay at the end of the year. We'll do another clay project, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye.